So let's start on our back. If you'd like, you can maybe place a rolled up blanket underneath your knees and just lay back. Do you have Brody with you tonight? I'm dog sitting again this weekend. Thursday, Steffi's coming back. I love her so much. She's my favorite dog. Well, Brody is too. I don't want to leave him out, but she's just magnificent. I love, love, love her. I'm going to eat her little face. She's the best. Little Steffi. We're tight, you know? We have like a really good, strong relationship. Okay. So we'll start on her back with the blanket rolled up under the knees. And let's just start with, you can place your one hand over your heart and one hand on your belly. And just bring your awareness to your body and how it starts to just sink into the mat, sinking into the floor, beneath the mat. Start to allow yourself to just get a little melty. Notice if there's any tension in your feet or your legs, lower back. See if you can just let that go. Maybe allow the breath to just move through it. And feel the mat against your body, just all the points of contact. Maybe the heels of the feet. Maybe the glutes, the sacrum, all up the spine and the shoulder blades, and the back of the head. The backs of your arms. Just feel how supported you are here. And with one hand on your belly and the other on your heart, feel how the belly rises and falls with your inhalations and exhalations. Notice when you're breathing if the chest rises and falls more than the belly or not. Just notice what's happening. And if it is, see if you can allow the breath to come all the way down deep into the belly. And then once again, bring awareness back to the legs. Is there any tension there? Can you let go a little more? Bring awareness to the shoulders. Is there any leftover tension there? And begin to let go of that as well. The shoulders especially, that's an area where we forget. We'll relax it and then it'll tense back up and then we let it go. So we can keep going back and checking in. And then without coming up off the mat, we're going to open the eyes, or at least flutter them open, and start to deepen the breath a little bit too. We were just kind of resting for a moment, but at this point, let's start to breathe a little more deeply and grab your block, wherever that is. I can see you've got it next to you. So grab the block and hold it between your hands, between your palms, and hold it above your head. Squeeze the block a little bit. And then as you inhale, press or push the block away from you towards the ceiling, and you'll notice that your shoulders come up a little bit off the mat. And then relax them again. And then inhale and do it again. Push the block towards the ceiling until you feel the shoulders coming up off the mat. And then as you exhale, release. And on the third time, we're going to inhale and press the block away and lift the head up off the mat. So now it's head and shoulders up off the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. I'm sure you can feel your abdominals working a little bit. On your next exhale, release and come back down to the mat. And now take your legs up just so that your thigh bones will be perpendicular to the floor and your shins are parallel to the floor. And we're going to inhale and press the block away again and come up off the mat with the head and the shoulders. Hold it here for 3 breaths. And on the third exhalation, you'll slowly release the upper body, keeping the legs where they are. So we're doing a little bit of core strengthening here for you. And then let's inhale up one more time. So head and shoulders are off the mat. And then we're going to take the block and we're just going to slide it over to the left. So we're on the outside of the left leg. And we'll take 3 breaths here. Nice full deep breaths. And on your third exhale, we'll come back to center. And then one more inhale. And then exhale over to the right. So the upper body's still up off the mat. We're using some of our abdominals as well as the side abdominals. On the third exhalation, we'll come back to center. And then we'll press up one more inhale. And then exhale, come all the way down. Bring the block down, bring your legs down. And then you're going to take the legs a little bit further apart with the knees bent. And we're going to do that back and forth, a little windshield wipers, because we love it and it's so good. And then from here, let's bring the knees in towards the chest. We're going to do a few rounds of Apanasana. So I know you probably don't remember the name. Eventually you will. This is the one where we inhale and bring the knees in towards the chest. And then when we exhale, we press the knees away gently so that the thighs come vertical. And we're going to do a few rounds of this at your pace, synchronizing your breath with the movements. So we're exhaling away, inhaling, bringing everything in. So doing some very gentle low back stretching here. Exhaling, pressing away, and then inhaling and bringing everything in. Do a couple more rounds of this. And on the second exhale, You'll release and bring the feet to the mat. And if you want to move the rolled up blanket out of the way, if it's in the way, if it's not in the way, no big deal. I'm just going to move mine temporarily. And then bring your feet to the mat. Great. And then from here, your hands can be by your sides. And as we inhale, we're going to press the hips up into bridge. You don't have to come up super high. Take 3 breaths here. On the 3rd exhalation, very slowly, we're going to start to unravel and come back all the way down to the mat. And then on your next inhale, we're going to inhale and press the pelvis up again, and also bring the arms up and overhead. And they'll land behind you. And then as you exhale, we're going to uncurl the spine again and bring the arms up and forward and back down to the mat. We'll do 3 more rounds, so it'll be 4 altogether. So we're going to inhale everything up, arms up and overhead, pelvis lifts up using the strength of your legs, not scrunching up your butt muscles, so be careful of that. And then exhaling and unraveling the spine back to the mat. Inhaling up, up and over. Again, feeling the strength in your legs and your thighs, but not compressing the lower back in any way. And then exhaling, waving the arms back over your head towards the front of the room and all the way down to the mat. And then one more time, pressing up into bridge with the arms overhead. And then exhaling all the way back down. Slowly, slowly, slowly. This one is hard to say. I'm going to see if I can pronounce it, because I've got the words, I've got a list in front of me actually, because I have to learn this. Chakravrakasana. That's a mouthful, right? Okay, and then from here, let's just roll over to the side. And then press up to sitting. We're going to come onto hands and knees. If you need to, I think you have carpeting under your mat, but if you can pad up your knees if you need to. And we'll just come into a regular tabletop, and we'll do a few cat-cows here to keep warming up the spine. And I'm going to have you go at your pace, right? So try not to keep up with my breathing, because your breath is different than mine. So as we inhale, we're going to let the belly drop. We're going to lift the chest, lift the gaze. And then round the back as you exhale. Relax the neck, let the head fall forward. And as the breath comes in, one more time, letting the belly drop. Lifting the gaze. And then as we exhale, rounding the back again, chin to chest. We'll go back and forth like this a few times. The pace doesn't really matter. We're just getting the spine warmed up. I'm going to have you do 2 more rounds. And we'll meet in a neutral spine. Basically, all that means is we'll meet back in tabletop. And then from here, let's take the right leg back, coming onto the ball of the foot. Maybe even let your toes get a little stretch if you think that will feel good. And then press, while you're on the ball of the foot, we'll press the heel back so we can get a stretch in the calf and all the way up into the hamstrings. Full deep breaths. And then let's take that right leg, swing it behind the left, onto the outer edge of the foot, and look over the left shoulder. Notice where you're feeling this, because oftentimes people will feel this in the lower back. So notice if you're getting anything there. Other times you'll feel it just along the whole right side of the body, maybe in the hip area, maybe all the way down to the leg, along the ribs. It just depends. And then we'll go ahead and bring the right leg back to starting. Full inhale and exhale. And then we'll take the left leg back and we'll start, again, maybe start on the toes. See if you would like a little bit of a toe stretch. Otherwise, go ahead and press the heel back. Full deep breaths. And if the back of your legs feel really tight, you can also press the heel back and then release it, and do that a few times and see if that's better. Sometimes it can be, sometimes the muscle will fight back if we're just sort of, pressing it into stretching. So sometimes we have to approach it a little bit more gently. And let's take the left leg behind the right. Again, on the outer edge of the foot, looking over the right shoulder. Full deep breaths. And then slowly bring that back. And then to do a little more abdominal strengthening, let's take that right leg back and up. Okay, great. And then from here, inhale and lift the right leg up high. And as you exhale, curl up and see if you can bring your knee to your nose. And then as you inhale, do that again. Take that leg back and up. And of course the gaze moves up as well. And then as you exhale, we're going to curl everything back up again. Let's do one more. Inhale, take the right leg up and the chest and the gaze goes up. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the knee to nose. And then release the right leg. We'll switch to the left side. So let's take that left leg back and we'll inhale the left leg up high while we lift the chest and the gaze. And then as we exhale, we're going to curl up and see if we can touch our nose with the other knee. Inhale back and up. Exhale, knee to nose. And then one more. Inhale, back and up. And exhale, knee to nose. And then release. That feel okay? Okay, good. So the next one, we're going to take the right leg back again. Now from here, you can just stay here and breathe, find a comfortable balance. And if this feels pretty easy, you can go ahead and take the left arm forward. And from here, we'll just breathe. Now, if this feels really easy, these are just steps that we're taking. So every step is just an option. So if this feels easy, you can try maybe bending the right leg and reaching back with the left hand and grabbing the right ankle or foot, but only if it feels like it's doable. And if you try it and you decide you don't like it, you can always let go. So there are always options, always options. And whether you took the ankle or not, we'll just go back to reaching forward with the left hand and back with the right leg. One more full breath. And then exhale and release everything back to the mat, back to tabletop. And we'll switch sides again. So this time we're gonna take the left leg back and up. Stay where you are. If this is enough for you, we'll stay here and breathe. If it's available to you, go ahead and take the right arm forward. And if this feels like enough work, stay here and breathe. And if you want to go even further, you can bend the left knee and reach back, take the foot or ankle. Any of the three options are perfectly fine. If you did take the left leg, you can release it and we'll just keep reaching forward with the right arm. And then we'll go ahead and release and come back to tabletop. And then for the next pose, this one is one of my favorites. I love it. We're going to inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then the left arm's going to come underneath the right. We're going to come into this nice supported twist on the floor. So you're coming onto head and shoulder. The right hand is next to your face. You can just stay here and breathe. If you would like a little more something, you can maybe try walking the right arm forward and see if that feels good, if it feels safe. You could also try taking the right arm up towards the ceiling. You can also rest it on the lower back or even wrap it around the waist. So a lot of different options here. And it just depends on your body, how much stretch you want, what feels good, what makes you say, yes, please. And we'll just stay here and breathe. Full deep breaths. And then wherever your right hand is now, we're going to bring the right hand back to the mat, right next to our face. And then you're going to press the right arm into the mat, and we're just going to unravel and back up into tabletop. We'll take a full inhale and exhale. And then on the next inhale, we'll lift the right arm up. And then exhale the right underneath the left. And again, we'll do the same on this side. So find the spot that feels good for you. The left hand can stay where it is, or you can take one of the other options by walking it forward, or raising it up, resting it, or wrapping it. Full deep breaths. Let your body just sink into the mat here. Just notice the sensations that come up. Notice what happens when you're here. Notice where the stretch is. Notice if the body is able to relax a little bit with every exhalation. And then we'll go ahead and bring the left hand back down to the mat, and then press into the mat to come up to tabletop. And then from tabletop, take the knees wider and let the toes touch. And we're going to come into child's pose with the arms out in front. And the forehead will rest. And as opposed to regular child's pose, keep the arms straight, maybe even on fingertips. That's up to you. You can play around with that. Or at least the elbows off the mat. So there's it creates a little bit of traction doing this. And then lift the head off the mat. We're not going to come up too high. We're going to walk the arms over to the right, just as far as you can comfortably go, and then lower the forehead again and breathe. And then gently lift your head off the mat again, and we'll make our way over towards the center, and then keep going all the way to the left, only as far as is comfortable, and lower the forehead again, and take a few breaths here. And then again, we'll lift the head off the mat, come back to center, and then back into tabletop. And then, actually, we're going to come to sit on heels. And again, if you need something for knees, we're going to do another knee thing. So if you need something, you can grab it. I don't think you do. You look pretty, looks comfy where you are. Yeah, that's a good setup. So we're going to come into a low lunge. We'll start on knees, and basically you're just going to bring your right leg forward. We don't have to do down dog and all that. And I know that you have reservations, so we will never do down dog when you're with me. Okay, so in this position, you're going to go ahead and come forward a little bit. So your front leg can be either perpendicular, you could even be a little further than that, and the back leg, so we're not having exact right angles here anymore, so now we're coming into a lunge, right? It's like a low runner's lunge, and you can clasp your hands and place them on top of the right thigh, and you're gonna let the body come forward a little bit. Hopefully you can feel this in the front of the left hip. And as you're pressing your hands into the thigh, think about lifting the chest and the head so that we're pressing forward, but we're lifting up and elongating at the same time, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it'll make sense when you feel it happening. And you are using the strength of your legs. So you're not really flopping into this. Both legs are strong here. And from here, we're going to inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then lift it back. It's almost like we're doing a little bit of a back bend here. Does that feel okay? Yeah. And then we're going to take the left elbow cross in front of the right thigh. Bring your hands together in a prayer position, and we'll just stay here and breathe. Beautiful. And then we're going to look down and turn back to the front, release this. Bring your hands down to the mat and take the right leg out to the side. So your foot is about a 45-degree angle. And you can either leave it flat or you can even put it on the outer edge. There's absolutely no difference. It's really a personal preference. what feels good and what you like. We're going to take the left hand and press it into the mat, and then the right hand is going to come up and around and just press into the upper right thigh, and you're going to look over your shoulder. It's a little bit of a twist and a hip opener. And what we're doing here with the lunge and this pose too is we're trying to get a little more into the psoas muscle, because the psoas muscle is also responsible for our backs too. And it's a very deep muscle, and it's not exactly easy to get to. So full deep breaths. And then slowly we'll make our way back to the front. Let's bring the right leg back in. And then we're going to press the hips back like we're trying to sit down. So we're going to stretch the back of the front leg, the right leg. And also the foot can either be flat or you can raise the toes. And the knee can be bent if you need it to also, because it's kind of an intense hamstring stretch. But this is what we call half Hanuman or half split. And we'll just do a gentle fold here. Again, the knee can be bent, whatever you need to make it so that it doesn't feel like torture, basically. Full deep breaths, of course. And then to come out of this, we're just going to step forward and then release the leg. We'll just slide it back. And then we'll slide the other one to the front. So we'll do the other side. We're going to come into that lunge again. We're going to use the strength of our legs. And we're going to come deep into this lunge. And our hands will be pressing into the upper left thigh. And then we're lifting the chest, lifting the crown of the head, just getting some length and getting a stretch along the psoas on the right side, or whichever side you're on, the opposite. Full deep breaths. And on the next inhale, we're going to lift the right arm up and back a little bit too. So I'm hoping you're feeling this not just in the psoas, but that stretch starts to move up. So it's now in the near your rib cage, right? Just between the rib cage and the hips. That's also your psoas. Your psoas actually attaches to the spine below the ribs. On your next exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh and bring your hands to touch. We'll just stay here and breathe. And then we'll turn towards the front and release the hands. Bring the hands to the mat. We'll take the left foot out, and again, it's just at a little bit of an angle, and it's on the outside, maybe even on the mat or the outside of the mat. Pressing the right hand into the mat, and then the left hand comes up and presses into the upper left thigh. And again, that foot can be flat, or you can be on the outer edge. I like mine on the outer edge because I feel like I get more stretch in the groin muscles, which is a really hard area to get to. And then again, think about getting length in the spine. Think about lengthening the chest and then the crown of the head, moving forward and then moving up and over towards the ceiling. So we're trying to open up the chest here too. And then we'll slowly release, come back to the front, bring that left foot back in. And then sit back like we're going to sit on our heel. And again, foot can stay flat or toes can come up, and we're folding over the left leg. And again, the knee can be bent any amount. And then to release, we're just going to step forward and slide that leg back. And then I'm thinking we should grab our bolster, couple of restorative poses. Can never have enough restorative poses. Whew, these bolsters are huge lint collectors. And my blankets are cotton. I really wanted cotton. But you have to wash them like 10 times. They have so much lint. But I love it. I love me some natural fabric. Okay, so we're gonna sit down next to it. Leave a little space so you can slide off the hips. So we'll do that twisted one. And I always find my foot just kind of hooks into the opposite foot. And then with your hip up against the bolster, you're just gonna twist the upper body and then come to lay on the bolster in any way that's comfortable for you. So the head can be forward or onto the side. We'll stay here for a little bit, a couple minutes. Full deep breaths. And while you're here, just bring your awareness to your breath. Notice it. Notice whether you're still able to breathe fully and deeply in this pose. Notice where the sensations are in this pose. If you are feeling that twist, if you're feeling those muscles that are involved in the twist, if they're opening up at all or letting go at all. Earlier we talked about noticing whether you are breathing through your chest more or your belly. So again, just check in with that. You know, is it possible to bring the breath a little bit more, a little deeper. More deeper is not the correct grammar, and it's one of my pet peeves, so I have to fix it. Deeper into the belly. And then from here, we're slowly going to start to make our way over to the other side. So just take your time. We're going to start to kind of roll back up, and you can either move the bolster or you can move your body to the other side, whichever is easier for you. And again, we just kind of hang out next to it and just slide off the hip. And just get comfy. And we'll do the same thing we did on the other side. Bring awareness to the breath first. And allow the body to relax completely, get soft and melty. I like the word melty. Get melty. And allow your breath to be full and deep, and maybe if you can, maybe even extend the exhalations so that they're longer than the inhalations. And again, that helps to get the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in so that we can enjoy a deeper relaxation, and also brings the whole body into balance, the whole nervous system. Notice what happens with every exhalation. Is there a little more settling? Is there a little more letting go? And then slowly we will start to make our way up from this one again. And just kind of move the bolster temporarily out of the way. I'm thinking we could sneak in a side plank. If you're feeling up to it, are you up to it? Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna start with a modified version. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with tabletop. You're gonna just kickstand your knee, which means basically you're just gonna turn your knee this way. So it makes it a lot easier. And then you can do this or whatever. And then you can either just stay here, or if you feel like you want to take more, then you're gonna press the right foot and you're gonna move that left one back, or whichever foot it is. But you don't have to, right? You can stay here too, because it's a lot. So whatever you're up for. Huh?
Is this okay?
Oh yeah, you look fabulous. It's hard. It's a hard pose.
This is the one I was doing. Is that okay?
It's fine. It's all the same pose. They're just different sort of degrees of it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, once you start to feel stronger in here and in here in your ribs, then you're going to be doing this like it's nothing. So it's good to take it in stages. Some people do, oh my God, I can't do it, but like, all right. Maybe, so some people can do, I can do this a little bit, right? Some people will grab their foot and be like, whoop. I want to fall just from laughing. But they can do it so easily, I can't. But here, I just invented a new one. The front cross. All right, good job. That was about a minute to a minute and a half. Woo. Feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We don't have to do the other side.
I think I probably do every other day.
That's fine. Again, it's like a, build it up slowly. Let's come on to our backs. Let's see, have a block nearby, have a blanket. Actually, what was I gonna, oh yeah, okay, I don't need this right now.
I feel like I can't take it from Brody.
Oh. Yeah, don't take the blanket from Brody. That would make him very sad. He looks really comfortable right now. All right, so we'll come onto our backs. And then from here, we're going to take the right leg, cross it over the left. So the ankle is on the upper left thigh, and we're going to bring everything in towards the chest. Keep both feet flexed. And if you can bring your hands underneath and clasp the leg, and then we'll just stay here and breathe. Full deep breaths to make sure you're letting the belly fill with air like a balloon. If it's available to you while you're here, another thing that you can do is press the right arm against the right leg and sort of pressing it open more, and it just shifts the feeling of stretch a little bit. You'll see, and then you can decide if you like it or not. And then go ahead and release the hands and take your leg and cross it all the way. And then grab the shins or the ankles, whatever you can reach, and we'll hold it here for a few more breaths. And then we'll slowly release and uncross the legs. We'll just switch sides so that the left ankle is now on the upper right thigh. We'll bring everything in. If you can clasp the hands behind the right thigh, fantastic. Keep both feet flexed. If you can press the elbow against the inner left thigh, that's great too, but only if it feels okay. And we'll breathe here. And then we'll slowly release it just part way so we can cross the legs a little further. And then we'll go ahead and bring the shins in towards the chest, again keeping the feet flexed and breathing through the belly. And we'll go ahead and release. Uncross the legs. Bring the feet to the mat and just take them out a few inches. Keep the legs a little bit wide. We'll windshield wiper the knees a few times. And then with the block nearby, you can bring the block just kind of next to your knee or thigh. We're going to bring the knees into the chest and then just let them fall over to one side, and they're just going to land on the block. And if you don't need the block, that's fine too. This just kind of makes it a little bit easier. And see if you can keep your chest turned towards the ceiling and both shoulder blades on the floor if possible. You can bring your hand to rest on top of the knee if you'd like. And then we'll slowly release and bring knees back to center and the block to the other side. Get it, and then just adjust, bring the knees back in, and then let them fall over to the other side. Make any adjustments you need to. Keep the shoulder blades on the floor, and the hand can just be resting on your knee if you want to just keep them stacked. Full deep breaths. And then slowly we'll release that side, come back to center, hug the knees into the chest, and give yourself a little rock. Side to side is good. And then open the knees a little, cross the legs, one ankle over the other, doesn't matter which one, and we're gonna make some big circles. And it feels like a nice low back massage. And you can go at your own pace. And we will switch direction, keep everything even. And then we'll go ahead and release, and we will come into Shavasana. So I'm gonna tell you to grab a blanket, but if Brody's sleeping on the blanket, I don't know if you should be waking him up. That poor dog. She's like, come here, you. Poor bro. There we go. See, he's fine when you do it that way. He's all snuggled up. So you can rest any way you'd like. You can place something under the knees. You could actually put the bolster under your knees if you'd like, or you can let your legs lay out and just lay out flat in front of you. Extended. I was looking for the word. And we'll just start to let go. You can stop with the deep breathing. Just come back to a natural breath. Allow the legs to just feel soft and allow the weight of your body to sink into the mat, fully supported by the mat and the carpet and the floor underneath and the ground underneath. Fully supported here. Softening the sacrum, softening the pelvis and the abdomen. Maybe just noticing the way the mat feels against your back and all the points of contact. Feeling grounded, safe. You can relax the spine and the shoulders. Maybe even softening the area around the heart. And softening the neck and the jaw. And if the tongue is stuck to the roof of the mouth, you can release it. Softening the face, the muscles of the cheeks and the around the eyes and the scalp. Slowly we'll start to bring our awareness back to the room. Maybe just start by taking a full deep breath. Or playing with soft doggy ears, which is so nice. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes and start to think about making our way over to one side before coming up to sitting, especially where you've got the bolster today. So take your time. I love it. He looks like a little baby. Hi, Brody. Oh my God, he looks so cute right now. He's got the whole thing like, oh, I love it. Okay, let's wrap up the practice. Thank you for coming to practice. I hope that it feels good for you. And I know these last couple weeks have been so stressful. Everybody in the world, not just here, in the world. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So my wishes for everyone, may we all be happy. May we all be peaceful. May we all be free from suffering. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Spira.